Okay, you guys, excuse the noise in the background. That's my fan, and I have it on the highest of highest levels of all. It is super hot in my apartment. I cannot turn the fan off, and I'm so sorry if the noise is irritating or, yeah, if it's irritating, because I think I can hear me through the noise, right? But it might be a little irritating. Anyway, that's a personal problem because I'm not turning the fuck off. However, I am disciplining myself. Butterfly, look, ooh, butterfly slaying. I'm disciplining myself to read one book per month because it's just good to read. At my big ass age, I should be reading. But the way my attention span is set up, it be just like hard to focus. Wrong. But anyway, I'm just disciplining myself to do that. So I'm going to start by reading one book a month. And I'm starting with the books that I love the most because it's going to help me stay consistent. You feel me? It's going to help me stay consistent. So the book I'm reading now is called Don't Believe Everything You Think. And it is by Joseph Nguyen. Joseph Nguyen? Nguyen. Joseph Nguyen? I believe that's how you pronounce Nguyen. Why Your Thinking is the Beginning and End of Suffering, okay? And so you can kind of tell by the title what the book is about. Don't believe everything you think. It's about the mind, the brain, psychology, how we think, how we process triggers and trauma and pain and things like that. So it's like perfect for somebody like me to read because I done been through like everything fucking go through in my 36 years of life. Like I done been through it all, and so reading this book is like it just kind of confirms I'm not the only one that struggles with these things, and it confirms that there are people out there that see us, those of us that struggle with trauma and pain and processing that shit and still trying to function in the everyday life world, raising children. You know what I mean? Just trying to do the everyday mundane things, as well as heal from the shit that we went through. Books like this is just like vital. It's like so necessary. And it just makes me feel seen. Okay, so I want to read you guys the first chapter. The first chapter is called The Journey to Discovering the Root Cause of Suffering, and it is bomb. My spirit team get on my nerves sometime. I think it was my granny. I literally just heard, girl, you know them damn people can't hear you through that fucking fan. Turn that shit down or off. And I just did it like a punk ass. I just got up and turned the fucking fan down. Because I clearly heard that. Anyway, gotta listen to granny. There is an important distinction to make when speaking about suffering. When I mention suffering in this book, I'm referring to psychological and emotional suffering. There is a way in which, no matter what happens in your life, you do not have to suffer emotionally and psychologically. I am not saying what we go through is all in our heads or made up. Terrible and unfortunate events happen to people every single day. I'm not saying that although we experience a lot of pain in our lives, suffering is optional. In other words, pain is unavoidable, but how we react to the events and circumstances that happen in our lives is up to us and will dictate whether we suffer or not. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to put the phone in a like nice. I was trying to level the phone. Okay. So, Buddhist says Buddhist says that two arrows fly our way whenever we experience a negative event. Being physically struck by an arrow is painful. Being struck by a second emotional arrow is even more painful, suffering. The Buddha explained in life we can't control the first arrow. However, the second arrow is our reaction to the first. The second arrow is optional. When I first heard of this quote from Buddha a few years back, I was confused because although I understood what he meant, I didn't know how I could apply this in my own life. If anyone were given the clear choice of suffering and not suffering, I don't think anyone in their right mind would choose to suffer. How can I choose not to suffer? If it were as easy as that, I don't think anyone would suffer anymore. It wasn't until years later that I came across a new understanding of where suffering comes from, that I could stop it at its source. As I began my journey of self-improvement, I came across many different teachings, studies, and methods to help people overcome their problems. I read dozens, if not hundreds, of books, studied psychology, went to therapists, listened to many different thought leaders, tried changing my habits, waking up at 4 a.m., changing my diet, becoming more structured and disciplined, shadow work, studying personality types, meditating daily, going on spiritual retreats, following spiritual masters, and researching different ancient regions. If you name it, I probably tried it. I was desperate to find an answer because I wanted to know how to stop suffering in my life and help others do the same. Although some of these things did help, although some of these things did help me improve incrementally, it didn't stop my suffering. I still always felt high, anxious, fearful, unfulfilled, irritated, angry, and frustrated every day. Even after doing all of that, I still didn't discover the answer. And if I'm being honest, I was even more lost than before I started on this quest. I felt purposeless, hopeless, and distractionless. I didn't know what to do anymore, where to look, or who to talk to. It wasn't until I was in my darkest hour that a glimmer of hope began to lead me to the light. All of a sudden, after years and years of searching, I stumbled upon one of my first mentors who revealed the answers to how I could alleviate my suffering. The answers I discovered was in understanding how our minds work and how the human experience is created. Was in understanding how our minds work and the human experience is created. And just the first chapter got me like sucked the fuck in because I can hella relate to this. Like all of that he said he did, like reading books and studying psychology. I actually took a psychology class when I started going through my spiritual awakening because I needed to know that I wasn't going crazy and that I wasn't insane. If even though my higher self told me that I was on the right path and doing the right thing and that I was literally on my way to a new journey, on a new calling, people outside of me thought that something was off about me or that I was grieving and going crazy and spiraling, quitting church. I didn't really quit church. I was kicked out of church, but at the same time, it was my time for me to step out of Christianity and back to, source energy, the universe, like just to be free, a free spirit. So at the same time, I did choose to no longer go to church or no longer, be a part of that religion. But just in general, therapy. I'm still in therapy. He said like waking up at 4 a.m. I was doing that. I was waking up to sun gaze. You know what I mean? Staying up to moon gaze. Like cutting my diet, trying to do certain things, cut certain things out of my diet. Like when you are really trying to figure yourself out, you will go to extreme measures to figure yourself out. And sometimes that will be cutting things out of your life, cutting habits out of your life, people out of your life, changing shit up a lot because you're trying to find your place. So, ooh, I just love this book, you guys. Like, if you want to get it, get it. Like, I have it in probably like my top 15 videos. I know that's a lot, but like in my top 15 videos, I promoted this and you can literally get it from the link on the video. And I only get commission. It's not like I'm getting paid like that. I probably get like $1 or something. I forgot how much it is, but it's a really good book to just have. And like he said, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, the fucking shadow work. Like now when I'm doing my shadow work, I'm not in tears and crying. But at first, in 2020, 2018, 2019, between 2018 and 2020, when I would do my shadow work, I would literally be like sobbing and sad and just because I was really doing that shit. But now when I do my shadow work, I'm going in it because I'm going in it with a different emotion behind it because I've done a lot of the healing. But as you go through your spiritual journey, as you go through your path, you realize that it's more to heal, it's more to fix because you actually change. Nobody say the same. So when you grow and you learn past a certain extent, a certain level, there's another level to reach. There's another level. Oh, I thought I knew this. Oh, I thought I knew that. Oh, you might experience something different. Like, it's just a learning process. Life is literally a school, though. And yeah, following spiritualists, meditating, all those things. Like, yeah, I don't know. I might read y'all the second chapter if I love it that much. I know I'm gonna love it, so I'm probably gonna read y'all the second chapter too. But y'all, whether you comment or whatever on this video, I don't expect people to be like loving this content because for some reason people don't really love this kind of content. But I'm gonna put what I want to put on my account because that's just because it's my account. But yeah, I'm gonna read y'all the second chapter.